often say, don't we, that it's strange in the world of show business and TV, and of course sometimes the mix includes ex-royals. That's right, we're talking Harry and Meghan. That's what they are now, micro-celebrities who are trying to make a living by making themselves, open, palatable, and more importantly, accessible to the general public. But sometimes these things backfire, and as ever, what's interesting here is this particular story has taken a turn for the worst. Let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Thank you so much for joining me today. This story, is fascinating because it all really centres upon, once again, one of Meghan's infamous interviews. They've all become infamous for their non-truths, haven't they? This was, of course, you'll recall, where she claimed she was treated like a bimbo on the NBC hit-rated show Deal or No Deal. This quickly escalated as the interview came out. And then people were coming back out, including stylists, producers, fellow co-workers, saying, nobody remembers anything happening like this. Where did you get this from? Once again, Meghan's truth against possibly the actual truth. Who knows? None of us were there apart from these people. Two sides to every story, as I often say here on the show. Then, of course, it escalated because the hit-rated ABC show The View, which is very similar over here to Loose Women, a panel discussion all about, different topics of the day, had the former actress, now host, Whoopi Goldberg, basically defending the girls, saying it's a way of their making a living, they've got a high profile, etc. You get the picture. And, I would agree with Whoopi on this one. We've all taken jobs that not necessarily are the right jobs at the right moment, but they're paying the bills, and you're hopeful. We've all done it. It doesn't matter what sphere you're in the working world. It just happens. Now it would appear that Whoopi's in hot water again, simply because, according to a very good source, and as ever we have to say allegedly, it appears that Meghan was considering appearing on said chat show to help promote her podcast, Archetypes. That's right. Now, so far we can't actually get clarification. Was it a done deal? What we do know is, in inner circles of television, is that now Whoopi really appears to have, shall we say, made sure the deal won't be happening. According to that good source, Meghan's team got in touch with The View, and apparently they were upset by Miss Goldberg's comments, and they were considering that Meghan should appear on the show, as I say, to promote her much hyped podcast. Informal chat, questions in advance, the usual guff and nonsense. It appears though that Whoopi has now wiped out that possibility of it happening. Either way, you see, it's very tricky, because would she have really been going on the show, or is it another way of hitting back at someone who doesn't necessarily agree with her narrative? We saw this previously, didn't we, with Good Morning Britain, and of course the host that was removed, asked to leave, whichever way you look at it. Now, for Whoopi herself, she's standing by her comments, and that's commendable in many ways. But of course, moving forward, it does seem that if anybody speaks out of tune, they're very quick to get on board and say it's not exactly right, or, they're offended by this and now they're considering, etc. And again, allegedly. But whichever way you look at it, it does appear that some might say Miss Goldberg's done the world a favour by not having Meghan talking once again about her podcast. Other fans, of course, would say how cruel and unkind, and simply why should she not be allowed her opinion? Either way, this podcast is getting lots of exposure, but as I said before, not necessarily for all the right reasons. As ever, I'd love to know what you think to this particular story in the comments below. Was Whoopi right to hit out, or should she have remained silent in the hope that ABC and The View could have secured the guest that may have got some ratings, and more importantly, some more advertising in this much needed and very beleated sort of advertising revenue world for mainstream TV? As ever, I'll look forward to it. Neil Sean in the heart of London.